guarantee that we will achieve the silver. So that's why we need from 3 to 4 extra points in order to submit our project and to guarantee that we can achieve the silver certification. So as you can see on the screen, we have the LEED scorecard, which is our main reference to follow the process of the LEED and to follow the progress of the project. So every time, in every meeting we do together, we go through this checklist and we try to finish as much as we can credits and points as ES in order to go directly to our goal and our goal of the certification. So I will try to explain the credit. At the same time, I will give example of our project, which is the RFM project. So as we explained, integrated process, Mr. Jamil already explained, so I will go directly to the next category, which is location and transportation. And the aim of this category is to encourage building on a sustainable site and to put into consideration the location of the project and the amenities around this project in order to achieve as much as we can points, because this category has 16 points that we can achieve. So we will go one by one. The first credit is sensitive land protection, and we have two options in order to get 1 point from this credit. The first option is you have to build your project on a previously developed land, which means it's already disturbed before. And in our case, it was not the situation. That's why we go with the option, the second option, which means that you have to locate your project on a land that has been previously developed, does not follow these kind of criteria, like it cannot be a prime or farmland, for example. It should not have a flood plains risks. It should be like far away from water bodies and wetlands. So in our situation, we were able to achieve that 1 point because we received a report from the Kurdish University, and we achieved that 1 point. Next, we have the high priority site credit. So this credit, in fact, encouraged the development on the land that needs regeneration and redevelopment. So in this context, we have 3 options. In our project, we follow with the second option because our project is not on a historical district, so we cannot follow that option. And it's not a brownfield remediation, so we follow with the second option, which is priority destination, and it's the aim of it is to locate the project on a zone where there will be like development and like economic, let's say, development, and a lot of projects that can increase the economy of the area, which is our case because this area in Dohuk is like area that's like, how can I say, building a lot of new projects, and that it's like helping in the increase of the economy of the area. That's why we need to, of course, we need to receive an official document that shows that this area is really an area that is for the development of the zone. So next we have surrounding density and diverse uses. For this credit, we have an issue in our project because the project is not located in a very dense area. There is nothing around. It's like a very empty place, let's say. And also there were not a lot of amenities around the project. When I say amenities, it means like there is no markets, there is no pharmacies, there is no banks, for example. There is only a university, and there is some other like dormitory, let's say. So that's why it was so challenging for us to achieve this credit. We tried to, let's say, use the amenities around the campus, for around the inside the campus, let's say, but also we couldn't achieve because the lead, he cares about the people outside of the campus, not only the people inside the campus. So we need to guarantee to them that these people, they can use these amenities for free and every time. But in our case, it was not feasible, so that's why we decided to not go with this credit, and we lost 5 points from this credit, which was a very good opportunity and good chance to achieve points for our lead certification. So this is like a study case from a different project, unfortunately, because we didn't have in our project such a study, so we put some different study. Next, we have access to quality transit, and also we couldn't achieve this credit in our project because there is no public transportation around this area, so we cannot get points, and LEED encourage people to use the public transportation instead of using their cars, and this will diffuse like a lot of carbon, and it will pollute the air and the environment. So he always encouraged people to use the transportation, public transportation instead of that. And again, we couldn't achieve the minimum points from this credit, which is 1 point at least. So unfortunately, we lost some points from this credit. So this is also another case study for a different project in Malta, which they achieved 2 points in this project. Then we have basic facilities. So for this credit, it promotes like bike-friendly environmental, and we have for this credit 3 main terms, or let's say rules, that should be all together to achieve this 1 credit for 1 point. So first of all, we need to implement showers and changing rooms in our project according to the, of course, occupants number of each project. For each 100 occupant, we need at least 1 shower in the project, which was implemented in our case. Then we have also the bicycle parking, so we should consider the parking for the visitors and the parking for the employee or for the occupant in general. So 2.5% should be of the visitors should have like parkings, which we call visitors parking, and then we have 5% for the regularly occupant. So in our case, we achieved also this. We achieved the parking requirements. And the last thing, we have the bicycle network, which is the most important part in this credit, because it's too hard to achieve this credit actually. First of all, we have 2 options. First option is the bicycle network have to be connected with a bus station, which is not our in our case. That's why we have a second option, which is to connect like our project to 10 diverse uses, which is 10 different amenities. And we succeed to achieve this with the project team, and we will implement our bicycle network in the project. Second, we have reduced parking footprint. So for each project, we have to make sure that we are implementing the less parking spots in the project. But in our case, we are not, we will not go with this credit because we will not reduce the parking. Then we have the green vehicles. So it's very important to implement some, let's say, electrical vehicles in the project. So we have to at least implement 5% of all parking spaces as a preferred parking for green vehicles, and 2% for electrical vehicle supply equipment, and we were able to implement this. Next, we have the sustainable sites. So We can get up to 10 points from this credit, and we have our first prerequisite, which is construction activity pollution prevention. So if you visit the site, you can see that we have implemented some practices on the site related with the construction, and we as a company, we provide with the construction team with a plan, which is the erosion sedimentation control plan, and the site chef have to implement and make sure to follow the process of this plan, and it includes a lot of practice. I will not go into details because we are out of time. So we have, for example, a vehicle washing unit. So all the vehicles need to be washed before leaving the site to not take this like dust outside of the construction site. We have also for watering the roads, for example. So next we have the site assessment, and it's for each project we need to assess the site, and we have to get a report where we can see the criteria, the following criteria, like the hydrology, climate, vegetation, soil, etc., in order to understand our site and to know how can we implement the lead requirements on that site. Next, we have the site development, protect or restore habitat. So we didn't follow this in our project because our project is not developed on a previously developed land, which is very important for this credit. And the second option is to have a financial support, which was not followed. Then we have the open space. So it's really important to make like an open space outdoor area for the occupants in order to interact together with themselves and with the environments. That's why we have to provide at least 30% of the total space as an open door area, and a minimum of 25% of this open area should be vegetated in order to achieve this credit. And also the vegetation next to the parking spaces, it's not included in our calculation. So in our project we were able to achieve this point as well, because we have open spaces out there, and we have like more than 25% of a green area. Then we have the rainwater management system. So there is a lot of systems for the rainwater management. It can be like biosoils, for example. It can be rain gardens. It can be tanks. So the purpose of this is to collect the water and use it for the irrigation or for the flushing. So according to the data of the rain, like for the last 10 years, we can make the calculation and see how many water do we need for each month, and accordingly we will how can I say, calculate the capacity of the tank, and accordingly the team, they will implement this tank on the site in order to achieve this credit. At this moment we are still in discussion with the team to see if we will follow this credit or not in our project. So we are still not sure about this. Maybe we will follow, so we don't know. Then we have heat island reduction, which is the aim of it is to reduce the heat islands by using materials that have high reflectance. So what's important for us is the roofing and the hardscaping. So for each two items, we have to use materials that have a light color, for example, gray, beige, white, in order to reduce the heat islands. And also it's very important to know that the asphalt is not too much good in our case, so we have to avoid as much as it can using asphalt. Only if it's a very light color we can maybe accept it. So in our case, yes, we used asphalt in the project, unfortunately, but we talked with the engineers on site and we decided to make it at least light color, not black, maybe gray, so it can pass. So the next category is water efficiency, and we have up to 11 points. So in this category, we have outdoor water reduction and indoor water use reduction, which are prerequisites. It means that it's mandatory, it's not optional. You have to do it, otherwise you cannot achieve the certification in any cases. But also LEED gives you a chance to get points from these two prerequisites, which make it also credit. So I will be so quick. The outdoor water reduction and indoor water reduction, both of them are to reduce the water consumption. So for the outdoor water reduction, yada, turn to it. We have two options. We have to use plants that do not require any water needs. For example, olives. We don't need to irrigate these like daily. So if you make a project with this kind of trees, you will get full 2 points directly because you will not need for the irrigation. But there is also a second option, which is reduced irrigation, which means that you will use trees or plants that have very low water consumption. And accordingly, we will calculate, of course, we will do our calculation and we will see how many percentage reduction we will achieve. To get the prerequisite, we need at least 30% reduction. This is to get to the prerequisite. And up to 55% reduction, we can get 1 point extra as a credit. So here it's like the systems and the plants. Then we have the indoor water use reduction. This credit is about the sanitary factors. So kitchen faucets, toilet faucets, reservoirs, shower heads, shower hands, etc. So in our design stage, we need to choose carefully these factors because we need to take care of the flush rate, we need to take care of the flow rate, and we need to choose these according to the requirements of the LEED. As you can see on the green part of the table, so there are some requirements that we have to follow. As I said, as it is a prerequisite, we need to achieve 20% reduction to achieve the prerequisite, but also LEED gave us the opportunity to get more points, up to 6 points from this credit. So in order to achieve much more reduction, we need all to reduce more these factors as much as we can. Next, we have a material and resources category. So, as we have the erosion and sedimentation plan, we also have, no, sorry, this is not, okay. Okay, so the first prerequisite is the storage and collection of recyclables. So, actually, this helps to reduce the waste that's generated by the building occupant. Later, when we start using the project, you will produce a lot of waste. So we have to take care of this issue. That's why we have to implement like waste bins all around the project. Basically, we implement these in the corridors and in the common use area. So it should include the mixed papers, cardboard, glasses, plastic, etc. So we have implemented this on our project, of course. Then we have the next prerequisite, which is construction and demolition waste management. So as we have the erosion and sedimentation plan, we also have another plan for the waste management, which is also prepared by us, and we have to give it to the site chief, and he will implement this, and he will follow this process. And every month we need to receive data from them showing how many waste he recycled each month, and if there is some waste that didn't been recycled, it should be sent to the sand field, and we also have to receive this data, and accordingly we will make the calculation and we will see how many percentage we achieved. We need for this prerequisite at least 50% reduction, but if we want to get more points, we need to achieve up to 75% reduction. So maybe Mr. Ahmed, he can take you for a tour on the site, and he will explain this process. And fortunately today we talked about this matter, and we didn't like this implementation of our plan because it was not under the requirements and it needs to be improved. That's why Mr. Ahmed, he will do his best, I think, to make it better. So next we have life cycle reduction. It's like, actually the aim of this study is to evaluate the environmental impacts of the building through its entire life cycle. So based on the selected building materials and the construction system, so the embodied carbon emission of the building will be assessed through a software, and it will be analyzed according to the baseline of that building. We will define, according of course to the standards of the region. Based on that, we can know how many points we can achieve from this credit, and it's like study should be done with the expert actually. Then we have the environmental product declaration. So the aim of it actually is to use material that have a life cycle information. And for 1 point in this credit, we have to use materials like 20 different permanent installed materials that have EPDs. With EPDs, it's like environmental products declaration. So I don't know what's the name about it. Then we have the sourcing of raw materials. So also here it's about choosing the materials in our project. We have to carefully choose the material. We have to choose material that have like certification, material ingredients. So all these three credits, environmental product declaration, sourcing of raw materials, material ingredients, are all about choosing the materials. So in our project, unfortunately, we were not able to achieve all of these credits. We only achieved the EPD one, and for the others, we were not able to select any materials that have any kind of certification, like cradle-to-cradle certification or health declaration certification, etc. So we were not succeeded in this matter. Then we have our next category, which is indoor environmental quality, and which have 16 points that can be achieved. So first of all, we have the first prerequisite, which is environmental tobacco smoke control, and it's about to minimize the smoke, exposure of the building occupants. So first of all, the smoking have to be prohibited inside of the building. It's not allowable. But if you have a residence project, for example, and you want to allow the smoking inside, then you have to do a blower door test in order to be able to allow the smoking inside of the building. Then, as a first requirement, we should to implement our non-smoking signage outside of the building, and it should be within 7.5 meters from the project footprint. So, and we have to install the signage on all the openings and air entrances, doors or openings in generally. Then we have the enhanced indoor air quality strategies. So this is actually, it's about implementing entryway systems in front of all the entries, let's say main entrances of the building, and it should be like 3 meter length, and it should be inside the building, or if you want to implement it outside of it, it should be covered with, yeah, exactly. It should be covered with a canopy or any kind of structure, it doesn't matter. This is helping it to keep it always clean, and also to protect it from the weather conditions, because sun, weather, it can damage this system. Then we have the low emitting materials credit, which is about the VOC emission and VOC content. So also it's about choosing the materials again, but it's about the finishing works, let's say, because for example, if you will choose a type of painting, you have to think about the VOC emission of this paint and the VOC content as well of this paint. So for wet, let's say materials, we should always think about the emission and about the content. But for the other materials like flooring, for example, or walling or whatever, the VOC emission is enough, and we have to they have to provide us with the certification, necessary certification and reports in order to calculate again and see the percentage that we can achieve accordingly. So here, as you can see, we have 7 categories: paints and coating, adhesives and sealings, flooring, wall panels, ceiling, insulation, and furniture. In order to get 1 point from the lead, we have to at least follow 2 categories. So next we have the construction indoor air quality management. So again, we have another plan, which is for after the finishing works are done or they are in process, we have to implement this. When the finishing work actually started, we have directly to implement this plan actually, and it addresses a lot of criteria like the HVAC protection. We should always protect the HVAC systems when they are installed and also when they are stored. So we have to cover it well. Then we have the source control, we have pathway interruption, we have housekeeping. So in general, we should keep the place always clean. The construction site, it should be like a regularly cleaning schedule. And we have, for example, the pathway interruption, which means we have two spaces, and there is like how can I say? There is like can you help me with the word? There is 2 spaces and there is like a separation. Thank you. There is like 1 separation between these 2 spaces. When you finish 1 space, you have to the finishing course. Of course, you have to make sure to close that area with like plastic sheet or wooden sheet to not affect the non-done area, to not affect that done area, and it will keep always clean. So there is a lot of other practices, by the way, but as I said, we cannot go into details. Then we have the daylighting credit, which is very achievable in our project, and we can achieve 3 points if we go with it, but we are still in discussion about this. So it's about actually to let the light enter to our project naturally. We don't need to use a lot of artificial lighting. That's why it's so important to follow the daylight actually. And it's also depending on the type of the glass, because the transparency value is also important in this credit. So minimum we need at least 40% transparency in order to achieve this credit. So it's like we will have like daylight modeling, and we will do the necessary calculation and see how many percent that we can achieve for 1 point. We will need only 55% reduction percent, sorry. So later we have the quality views, which is also related with daylight. With the natural light, also we need view. So when you are working somewhere or studying or wherever, you will be happy to see green areas around you or to see beautiful buildings around you. So that's why it's really important to use like a lot of openings and glasses, etc., and the regularly used spaces. So this is the aim of this credit actually, and we need to achieve at least 75% in order to get this 1 point. Next, we have the acoustic performances, which is our last credit, and then we will pass to the question, Mr. Ahmed. So, this credit is about the acoustic, it's so obvious, and we have 3 criteria that will be taken into consideration. But for 1 point, we can follow only 2 criteria. For example, we can follow the HVAC background noise and the sound transmission, or we can follow the HVAC background noise, for example, and reverberation. So it's up to the condition of the project, and we will try to achieve 1 point by following the possible criteria. So these are actually the categories. There is also innovation and priority, regional priority, but I think we don't have a lot of time. That's why I would like